Good morning. We've had technical issues today, I'm afraid, with the broadcasting of Mass from church. So I couldn't do it yesterday either. So here's hoping. Our readings today follow on from last week, the feeding of the 5,000. People go in search of Jesus, and he says, look, you've just come looking for me because you want some more bread to eat. There's a danger there. People become lazy, or someone's going to give us food. Therefore, we'll get them to give us again. And that's the essence of the readings, I think, for today. It's all what Jesus is trying to say. It's all about greed. Greed has dominated the world since the beginning of time. From when people just decided, he's got a bigger mango than I've got, or he's got a bigger banana than I've got, therefore I want to have what he's got. Not because I desperately want it, but because I'm greedy for it. If you think about the story of Adam and Eve, it's a story of greed. They had everything. They had the resources of the whole world. They had a Garden of Eden. Every tree, every plant they could ever imagine, they could eat, except one. And greed got the better of them. Greed and sort of wondering got the better of them. And they chose to eat the fruit from the forbidden tree. And if you think about history, every war that's ever been fought has been fought over greed. Greed for food, greed for land, greed for power and money. Every war has been about greed. And unfortunately, and perhaps it's one of the ways of understanding original sin, there is in each of us an essence of greed. I was in someone's house a while ago and she offered me a chocolate Brazil nut from a box that she'd just opened. I think she had one as well, and I finished the rest. It's not a sin of greed, it's not a sin of gluttony, but I didn't really need to eat all of them. She kept saying, it's all right. So it's not as though she was sitting there thinking, well, we're not going to have another one. But it's that sort of thing that, oh, there's only a few left, therefore I may as well eat them. Instead of stopping and thinking, I've had enough, I don't enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the last one. And perhaps that would be the best benchmark for us, to stop when we come to a point where we don't enjoy whatever it is, the biscuit, the sandwich at a buffet, whatever. When we don't enjoy that as much as we enjoyed the one before, that's the time we should stop. In the world, there's so much hunger. In the world also, there's capacity to provide food for everyone. I think I remember reading somewhere an estimate that the world could produce something like 5 times the amount of food that's needed, and yet people go hungry. They go hungry because of greed, not just because wealthy nations hold on to things for themselves, not just because big multinational companies buy up the best arable land in poor countries and throw off the subsistence farmers and have orchards for pineapples or whatever that they sell all over the world. Not just because of that, also because governments in poor countries, many poor countries, simply decide it's not worth collecting the produce from outlying villages. So we'll just let that food rot, just let that food go to waste. It'll keep the price high. That's the essence of a capitalist society, really. Get the best price we possibly can, and one of the ways of doing that is by keeping the demand high, by keeping the provision low. It's a very sad state of affairs. There does not need to be any hunger in the world. Doesn't need to be really any poverty, but there's so much of it because of greed. Basically, we are people who have plenty. We decide that we want more. We'll have more by taking from those who are poor. We don't necessarily do that consciously, and certainly I imagine everybody listening to this is in no way responsible for the inequality in the world. But we do need to ask ourselves, what can I do? What can I do to change my habits? What can I do to make a difference? And the biggest thing we can do is be grateful for everything that we have. Because the more we recognize how blessed we are, the more we realize how we have enough. There's no need for us to go looking for more. If only the governments of the world, if only the big institutions and the rich individuals would stop and think, I've got enough. What I can do is I can use my ability, use my resources in order to help to support people who don't have so much, in order to help those who are unnecessarily hungry, who are unnecessarily poor. If only we could abandon greed, the world would be a much, much better place. Let's pray today that we can indeed recognize that what Jesus offers us is the bread of life. Not just the bread for today, but the bread for life in this world and the bread for everlasting life in the next. It's there, available for us. Let's pray that we can embrace that gift, recognize its value, and be ready to do what we can to share the world's resources with those who do not have so much. So thank you very much for following. We'll try and broadcast Mass this evening and hopefully carry on from tomorrow. But we will see what happens. It might be a couple of days before we get up and running again. So thank you very much. God bless. Have a great day.